So welcome. I am so excited to sit down and talk with LeeAnn. We actually did a Zoom almost like straight year ago, which is just so crazy. We got to hang out a little bit at conference last year, and congratulations, because girl, you're doing all the things. Like, she got winner circle last month, she got VIP, she's pregnant again. Like, girl's doing all the things, and so we're so excited to celebrate with you. So if you want to go ahead, unmute yourself, give us the rundown on who you are and, your story.
Hi guys. Yes, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, all the things are happening all at once. And I'll warn you guys, I have had a really rough pregnancy day. I'm still in my first trimester, so I'm struggling, but I'm here for you guys. I wanted to show up. I'm here. I'm doing better than I was earlier, so we're good. So I got started 5 years ago. I was a broke college student and I really just wanted to make enough to help pay my car payment. And I had a friend, kind of a mutual friend, I saw posting about this. I had no idea what it was, never heard of this before. And she reached out to me. Okay. She messaged me on Instagram and said, I think you'd be good at this. Are you interested in making another income? And I had seen all her posts, never liked anything, never commented on anything, but I was curious. So when she reached out to me, I said, actually, tell me more. And I was very skeptical. I blew her off a couple of times. She invited me to a wrap party. I didn't go. And then she invited me out to coffee, and I finally went to that. And I heard all the things, and I said, okay, I think I can do this. And I ended up using my student loan money to pay to get started because I was broke. My boyfriend at the time, that's now my husband, was paying all my bills. I was living at his dad's house, and he really supported me as I was finishing up school. So this extra income was something I really needed, but I was very introverted and shy and scared and didn't think that I could really make something out of this. So it was a long shot for me, but I decided to just give it a shot anyway, went for it. I did okay in the first month, 2 months. I mean, I got my shopping spree and I was making like $100 to $200 a month. That was all I joined for. So that's all I went after. I didn't really go for more than that. So I finished school and I started my career as a surgical technologist, which that's the person in the movies when they're like scalpel and you hand them the scalpel. That was me. So I did that. There's a lot more than that that goes into that. But I worked in surgery, like 50 plus hour weeks. I was on call. I worked weekends. I worked holidays. I was just so into my career and I loved it until I was about 2 years in when I really decided that I wanted more because I wanted to start a family. I wanted to buy a house. We hated where we were living. We wanted just more out of life. And I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck and never being around. I always missed out on all the fun things. My friends would always be at the river or doing camping and doing all this stuff. And I was always working or on call. So I couldn't do anything. So I had this business. I never quit in those 2 years. I never quit. I never stopped doing things. Like, I still posted, but that was about the extent of what I did. I posted and I used the products. Okay. And I decided, what the heck? Why don't I just give this a real shot and actually go all in? And so I got my butt on YouTube and I started learning. I learned everything I know from YouTube. And I got to conference that year. That was 2018, I think. I went to conference and I promoted to executive the day I landed in Florida. I'm from Oregon, so Oregon to Florida. I paid for the Wi-Fi on the plane and enrolled my last customer I needed to go executive. I felt like hot shit walking into conference, like, watch out, new executive coming in. And then I really caught the vision when I got to conference. I heard stories. It was the year of the dark horse. If you've been around a minute, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I just realized what I had in my hands and I needed to go for it. And this could totally change my life. So I double promoted to emerald the next month and earned a bonus. And then I went diamond a few months later and then double about that year mark of when I went to conference that first time and decided. So from that conference, a year later, I went distributor to double diamond. And that month I also had my son. So I went double, had my son, and left my job all at one time. And we bought a house like 2 months before he was born. So my life was just, it was chaos, but it was awesome. It was exciting. And then I kind of hit this like rut almost of I sat at double for 2 years. And I know I'm going to talk a little bit about that and like what happened in that time. But I sat there for 2 years. I never stopped working. I never, nothing really changed as far as like what I wanted out of this. Just wasn't the time yet. And so at that, so I was double for 2 years and then I just went triple last month. So nuts. And I won winner circle. And you guys, I didn't think that I was okay. Let me just say last month, I knew I was going triple. I knew in December, I decided, okay, you're gonna hear that word a lot. I decided I was going triple in December of 2020. I put it on my dream board. I wrote down the date. I said, this is happening by March. Okay. I ended February 10,000 away from triple. So it wasn't like going into March, I was like so confident. We're right there. We've got this. It was, no, this is, I already decided we're doing it. So we got to figure it out, but it's going to be a lot of work. And so I knew going into March that March was going to be a tough month. It was going to be a month of like Hail Marys. And I call it, it was the perfect storm, honestly. Like everything that needed to happen happened and everything fell into place perfectly last month. But I don't want you to think that that was just like I'm just lucky or something. It was just, it's been building up. I had been working consistently for years to make last month the best month we had ever had, and for all of that to come together. And let me just say really quickly, sometimes you're so frustrated with the timing of things and you think like, why am I not this rank yet? Why am I not there yet? I did that for 2 years. Like, why am I not a triple diamond yet? Well, I'm so grateful that it happened last month because with all the promotions on my team and all the enrollments, that was enough for me to get into winner circle. And so I'll take it. Like, yeah, I wanted to be a triple diamond last year, but there wasn't a winner circle last year. There was nothing last year. So I'm grateful that it happened when it did and the timing of everything. And now I get to go to Mark's ranch, which is on my dream board, but I never thought it would happen this fast or like that, like it did. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. Yeah, that's my story.
I love it. There's a couple of things I want to touch on, guys. She said that when she got started, she did not have the money, that she took money out of her student loans. Okay, I want you guys to remember that when you're talking to your potentials, especially right now with this discounted kit, and you're hearing those like, oh, I can't afford it. That's not that they can't afford it, it's that they don't have the vision for it. And I promise you, you're going to find those people who are going to do whatever it takes. I mean, I took money out of my rent. There's been so many amazing things. When they want this, they're going to find a way to do it. And then I also love the fact that you talked about how, you sat there for a little bit and you were comfortable. But then when you decided you were ready to start going right before you went executive, is you didn't wait for someone to tell you what to do. You didn't wait for someone to come along and like if your perfect distributor you enrolled or your upline to do the right things. You took it upon yourself and you were like, you know what, I'm doing this now, so what can I do? And you went to YouTube and you found out what it was to take yourself to the next level. And I love the accountability in that. And I'm so excited to hear all of your things about going triple. I think your story is just so awesome especially with my team, because I've got a lot of people who are kind of stuck at where you were at the beginning of your story when they are having, maybe they went Ruby really fast or they're pushing for Ruby and they haven't quite got there and they're kind of stuck in that first 2-year gap there. And then we've got the other side of it where I've got girls who've been diamond for a little bit, pushing for double, and I've been double for 2 years, pushing for triple. And so I think everyone's going to get so much out of this. And I'm just, again, so grateful for you taking the time out of your afternoon there. I don't even think it's like nighttime. So we appreciate you. So let's talk a little bit there about the beginning part of your story. I know you took quite a bit there at the beginning. So let's talk a little bit about how long it actually took to get those first customers in, first start seeing that money. And then what was it that changed in your first 2 years where you were just comfortable? What like switch flipped that you were like, you know what, I actually want more?
Yeah. So in the beginning, which you guys 5 years ago, we didn't have coffee, we didn't have gummies, we didn't have like we had wraps and greens. That was like all we had. Okay. So all I was doing in the beginning was posting before and after pictures of the wraps. That's like all my feed was belly pictures. And I remember it was my ex-boyfriend's mom commented, yeah, we didn't even have post back then. We didn't even have stories, like we didn't have any of that. Okay. I'm a dinosaur here. So I just was posting before and after pictures, and my ex-boyfriend's mom commented on it, and she ended up being my first customer. I think it was like 3 or 4 days into the business, and I was like mind blown that I actually found somebody that would want this, because like I said, I was so introverted. I was scared to death to ask people. I didn't think there was a couple people I did ask, like family that I thought would support me, and they didn't. So if you're there, if you're like you went to your sister, your friend, and you asked them thinking that they'd for sure say yes and they didn't, that's okay, because I can say a lot of them have now come back and now are either joined my team or have bought from me. My mom, it took her 2 years to become my customer, and now she's obsessed with the products and uses them monthly. So it's okay if people don't see it in the beginning, whether it's the business or the products. That's fine. Just keep talking about it, and they'll come around. So it was a couple days, but I ended up getting my shopping spree. Um, Within like 2.5 weeks or something. It was pretty good. I did have a wrap party. You guys, we used to do these things called wrap parties. It was pretty cool. We'd all like come together in a house. I know that's weird now these days, but we'd all come together and we'd like literally put wraps on people while we were there. And we'd like play fun games. This is way pre-COVID. This is like way long ago. And at my wrap party, I actually got a couple of customers and assigned my first distributor. So it was like that seemed really exciting and fast for me, but that was about the plateau of things, and then it kind of leveled out. And all I did for 2 years is seriously just post and like talk, and I didn't really grow my network, so I really wasn't getting very far. So that just shows how much growth and stuff happens over time. But and my first paycheck, you guys, was $40. I like to say that because so many people see their first paycheck and they're like, what is this? Like, I just worked so hard and I got $40. Like, no, peace out. Keep going, because it will continue to grow if you continue to grow with it. Um, and then what you asked me, what happened in those 2 years? I was double, right?
So we're still talking about like right before that when you like as you were hitting that run from our executive on, kind of what made the switch from like I'm good with, just posting into no, I want more.
Yeah, so I actually have an aha moment, and my team that's on here has heard this a million times. But sometimes you have a moment and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's like gradual and it hits you maybe one day, or finally you're just like, okay, I'm done being stuck. I'm done being sick and tired of being sick and tired. So mine was, I was on my honeymoon and it was a gift to us. We went into debt paying for our wedding, and then our honeymoon was a gift from my father in law. So we actually ended up going to Aruba, and I remember sitting there on the beach under this cabana with the cabana boy bringing us drinks and pizza, and I was living my very best life. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, how do I take a vacation like this every year? Like, how can I do this? Because right now, there's no way. We're barely making it by. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I kind of had a moment there where I was like, I've seen literally my best friend left her job and became a full-time work from home mom with this business, and I've seen other people do it in the company. I wasn't oblivious to what was happening around me. I saw it, so I knew it was possible. And it was in that moment that I realized, like, if they can do it, why can't you? You just have to figure it out, and you might not know how right now, but that's okay. You just need to go figure it out. And that's when I got onto YouTube and started learning, because back then my upline, she got to where she was from parties, and I did not do parties after my first one. And then I was introverted, remember? So that was not my thing, and very awkward. So I just didn't know what to do. So that's why I just got onto YouTube, and I was like, if there's people out there really enrolling like all these people, there has to be an answer. So I got on there and listened to what they were doing, and that's when I started growing my Instagram, and I actually went all the way to double just from Instagram. And then after double, I made some changes because my Instagram changed and things changed. And that after double is when I actually went over to Facebook and did host a post, and that's how I went triple. So it's crazy what works in the like in different seasons of your business, and it'll probably change again. Like I probably will go ambassador because of something else. You have no idea what's coming out. So so yeah, that was like the big thing that clicked was just my why changed. And so you have to remember people join for a certain reason, and usually it's only a couple $100, right? You have to remember that one day something might happen in their life and they might change. You might something's going to happen. They actually say that major life events happen every 6 months in people's life, good or bad. So it might be a good thing or a bad thing. People lose their job, someone gets sick, or something happens to where they realize, crap, I need more and I want a way out. And this is going to be the answer for them. So be patient with people with where they're at, because nobody saw me being a rock star. And then I just all of a sudden came out of nowhere and did the thing because my why changed.
I love that so much. I mean, and it's so true because you just never know someone's journey. And it's so easy for us to, get stuck in the comparison game. And I'm sure you felt that, especially there at the beginning, where you're looking left and right and you're seeing people, well, they just joined and they're already Ruby. And I've been here for 6 months. I've been here for a year. I've been here for however long and I'm still stuck. And when you could just focus on your lane, because the thing is, if LeeAnn probably would have gone Ruby and Emerald and when she first started, I don't know if she would have gone triple the same way she did. And like God works in such amazing ways that his timing for your journey is perfect, and it's going to be perfectly different than everyone else's journey. And there's so much beauty in that, just following your path. And I love that about your story, because I just feel like it's so relatable. And so one more thing I want to ask about that, kind of just like a nitty gritty, like a practical tip. I feel like I get asked all the time with some of my girls who have been stuck or have kind of like taken a step back and wanted to join back in. What do you do? Like you sat there and you've just been posting and all of this. You already did your training. You already, signed these customers. You've got that shopping spree. But I mean, that was months ago. So how do you physically go from I'm only posting to like I'm gonna start working my business? Like what is that like in an easy answer kind of shift look like for your like practicality?
Yeah, so back then, like I said, I grew from Instagram. That was my thing. So what I did was I listened to a bunch of trainings from people that were really good on Instagram, and I just started applying it. I grew my network like crazy from it, and so I would go on and intentionally add people, and then I was messaging people every day. During that time, I was messaging like over 100 people on Instagram a day to be a product model tester for me. And so that's what I did. And it worked. Back then, that's what worked. And I brought in, 20 to 40 customers a month just from messaging on Instagram. And that was the majority of what I did. We didn't have stories back then. So it was just literally messaging and posting and growing my network. That was constantly what I was doing back then. Now it's different. Do you want me to talk about what I do now? Because it's way different.
I think that's a good answer though, because it's very simple. You just did the things. Like you went and you found the things and then you did them and you didn't think about it. So we get so caught up of like, oh, I haven't been working my business. So how do I get back into it? Well, you don't have to know the how, you just have to know that you're doing it. You have to just hear the tip and then you apply it and you go do it. And you're messaging 100 people a day is the same as messaging 100 people a day for host to post. It's still doing the action steps. That's how you relaunch. That's how you get unstuck. I was on a training with Mel Robbins and she was talking about anytime that we're stuck and we have a problem that can be solved with action, that you don't actually have a problem, you just have a block. And that's exactly what stuck is. Whether you're stuck when you just joined, whether you're stuck and plateaued at a rank, you're not stuck, boo. You are not having this massive problem. You just have a block, and blocks are fixed with action. Doing the dang things, whether you know how to do them or what to do them, you're just doing the things. And the more action, the more times you rev in the engine, you're going to start going again. And I love it because it was just simple answers. Those are my favorite because, we don't want to overcomplicate it. And we love to overcomplicate things in our heads. So let's talk a little bit now about the second half of your journey. I'm sure, I can imagine hitting double diamond. You were so excited to go triple. You were probably ready to keep on running. And then it didn't happen. And then it didn't happen. And then it didn't happen. And it went on for almost 2 years again, where you were just feeling this plateau and this step. How did we rev the engine and get from that feeling again all the way up to where you're at now, winner's circle, which is, guys, if you guys are new and don't know what winner's circle was last month, which you can earn again this month, that's like 40 people of the entire company that you came out and you were like doing as a double diamond, showing up as those same quality people. I just love it. And you got triple is like all of the amazing things. And so what was it that really kind of, got that going again?
Yeah, so I had a lot of growth to do because I mean, from distributor to double in a year, and that's a lot of growth. Like, that's a lot of like new team and people joining, and just lots of changes in your business that you like, if you're not constantly keeping up with that leadership and growing with your business, then yes, you might fall. Like, you might fall down or you might plateau because you've got to grow with it. So I had to do, and of course, after I went double, I was like, oh yeah, now we're going triple. Like, it's happening in next month, and it didn't. And then last year again, I thought I was doing it, and we actually got within like 3,500 last year, last May or June. We got very close to triple last year, and we didn't hit it, and I was so devastated. Like, why does this keep happening? Like, why can't I hit it? And so I had to do just so much digging in myself and figure out, what are we missing as a team? What am I missing in my leadership? What am I missing? Just what is my new team missing? Like, there's something that's not working, that's not clicking, because we're not growing and sustaining like we should be. So one thing was my own leadership growth. I have read so many leadership books. I've changed the way that I lead my team. When I went double to compared to now, way 100% different. When I went double, it was mainly like me doing all the things and me not duplicating, or I wasn't training leaders. I was just like, it's fine, I'll do it all. And I've always been, well, since I've like really started the business, when I started promoting, I've been a mass enroller. And so I've just been like, oh, you're not boxed for whatever rank, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. Instead of taking the time to teach that person how to do it themselves, because then it means more to them. And so I've lost, like in the last 2 years before going triple, I had lost a lot of leaders. And actually the year after going double, that year was the toughest. I felt like so lost because I had people that would promote. I had people that went diamond and quit. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, you work so hard to go diamond. Why are you quitting? And I had so many people just like coming in and out, and I wasn't retaining people. And I had to really figure out why. Some of it was my own leadership. Some of it was the people that I was bringing in. And so I've changed the like who I'm attracting, who like the culture of my team. I'm not just letting anybody come in and change things. I want it to be a certain way. So I've really worked on that. And I've taken so much more time to pour into people, like actual people, and care about them. I'm a red. So a lot of what I want is like are surrounded by me and my goals. And I've had to really change that. On this wall is my leaders, like their whys. They wrote them up and sent them to me so that I could have them on my wall, so I can remember, what does my team want out of this? How is it helping them? I've got to kind of pull the yellow strings out of me, because I don't have that. And a lot of my team is yellow. So I've had to really learn how to shift and connect with everybody on their own level, and connect with them how they need it, not just how I wanted, right? I was leading my team how I wanted to, and not how they needed me to. So that was like a huge shift for me. I started doing a lot of leadership growth on my team. So one thing I do is I call it the Diamond Huddle, and we do it once a week. And we started this last year, actually, and it has been the best thing. I think some of them are on here, and they'll tell you, if they're a part of it, they'll tell you how good it is. But basically, there's no like rank requirement. It's just people that I see that are showing up, that want this, that have signed at least one distributor and run an auto ship. So people like that you see the potential in, those people are the ones you should be pouring into the most, right? So those are the ones I immediately pulled into this chat, and I was like, we're just going to try this and see how it goes. So I started pulling these people in, and in the chat, we share our enrollments. You know, we do the boom chat in there. And then we also do a call once a week only with these people. And I've just really been intentional with them, pouring into them, asking them what they need. It's very open. It's not just me talking. They can all talk. We can all share what we need help with, where we're at with our mindsets, and just really growing together. And we're all so much more connected now because of this call. And I can tell you that out of everybody in that group, I think only one person has left. Like everybody has stayed, and we're growing this group even more because now we're bringing more and more people into it. And so I'll say with retention, oh my gosh, the best decision I ever made, and it's the best call of the week, and we love it. So I'll say leading leaders is something I've changed a lot. I'm no longer just leading a team, I'm leading leaders because now these people are leading their teams. Even if they've signed one distributor, they're a leader. They need to start acting like one and changing how they're working and not bulldoze people or forget about people or do all that stuff. So I've changed that. And then also vision casting. So this is part of this diamond huddle we do is I've just been really, really strongly in there vision casting our team, where we're going together, where each of them are going individually. I shout them all out individually and share where I see them going. And I've been talking about us going triple strongly on there for a year. And at the end of last year, when we were doing dream boards and all of that, I hit it really, really hard with intentional work with us all vision casting together, doing dreaming together, goals are together. And I think that we were just so united on what the plan was, what the goals were, that we all were just in sync and ready to go. And I had the fire lit under them like this whole year so far. The fire has been lit. So we have been just on it together. And so that has been something huge that totally changed my business. And I actually feel like I have lifelong leaders on my team for the first time ever that are going all the way to the top with me. And I didn't have that before. And they're here, like they're going for it and they actually want it themselves. It's not just me doing all the things for them. So those are the biggest things that had to change in those 2 years. And the biggest things I think changed my business and why we got to triple.
Oh my gosh, all of that was so good. Oh my gosh, amazing. So let's just piggyback off that a little bit more. And how are you guys then? Let's talk about duplication. Because I know that's a huge thing when you're making the jump from double to triple. Guys, you can go double on your own. You can go ruby, you can go emerald, you can go diamond, you can go double without a soul working. I mean, there's so many people who have done that. I signed almost all 15,000 in volume and every single distributor for our team to go double diamond twice. So like it's 100% possible, but when you're going triple, man, that's a whole nother thing. You don't go triple, your team goes triple. And so going from double and then staying stagnant there for a year, obviously that duplication at the beginning was not there. And so I'm sure bringing in this diamond chat has made that so much more possible because you're duplicating leadership. But then how are you and your leaders taking that and duplicating the success down to your individual teams as well?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I like preach is meeting everyone where they're at. Because too many times we have our own agenda for what we want our people to do, right? Like you're like, no, you're in a Ruby box, like you're in a Ruby box on my chart, so you're going Ruby. But sometimes people just aren't ready. And if you force that on them, they're not like they're gonna quit. They're gonna just leave. They're overwhelmed. They didn't sign up for this. That's not their goal. Okay. So I really preach you have to know what your team wants, and whatever they want is what you're helping them get, right? And eventually you're going to help them see that there's more, and you're going to help vision cast with them and help them grow into that other position. But too many times I put people in places and said, you're going diamond. And they're like, what? I'm not ready for that. And then they quit because they're just overwhelmed. So meeting people where they're at, especially your newbies, like a confused mind says no. And when you sign up a new distributor and you're like, sending them 10,000 trainings and you're tagging them in 6 things at once on your team page, and you're like, you're going to do this and this and this, and they're like, I haven't even logged into eSuite yet. Like you're overwhelming them. So just really, no matter if they're brand new, if they've been in for 6 months, or if they're, a diamond going double, no matter what on your team, I feel like you just have to meet people where they're at and help them not only hit the goals they have, but helping them dream a little bit bigger at the same time without pushing them away. There's like a fine line there, and not making your priorities theirs, because it's not. Once you forget about your own stuff and focus on them, that's when things really change and move in your team and in your business. So that's one thing that's helped us duplicate really well. Keeping it simple, like from the get-go. Like I said, a confused mind says no. So me personally, like when I'm training new distributors, I know what's the biggest money maker in our business? How do people see results? Post to post. Like that is how we sign customers daily. So I'm immediately starting them on host to post, and I'm starting them at their pace, because some people first day they've got it down, they've already got up 10. You're like, let's go. But then there's some people that are like 3 days before they even make their giveaway posts, and you're like, come on, come on. So you just kind of got to meet them where they're at on that whole process of host to post. And that's what I really think where the duplication starts, because as soon as they see what that can do for their business, and they see, oh my gosh, I just signed up a complete stranger in my first week as a customer. Holy crap, this can really work. If you can get them to see that, then they're going to just go. They're just going to keep going, and they're going to duplicate on their own. And that's what you want. So starting them off with just that, not overwhelming them with like a ton of things, meeting everyone where they're at, and honestly just leading from the front, because I always say your team's never going to outdo what you're doing. So if you want them to do more, you need to go do more, and you need to show up first. You need to be seriously leading from the front, not just in enrollments, but are you getting on calls? Are you hosting calls? If 2 people show up, who cares? Like I had many calls where I only had 2 people on, and that's fine. Just keep going, and eventually they will follow you. But you've got to be loud and proud of where you're at, where you're going as a leader, and then they will follow and they will join you along that process. But if you're not even sharing like what you want, what your goals are, then they're not going to. And I'll say I actually felt selfish for a long time talking about going triple. Like that was something that it was really hard for me. I struggled with it. And so I never really talked about it. I would always talk about, other people on this team are promoting, yay, like, which is great. But I was never saying, I'm going triple diamond, or we're going triple diamond as a team. I never would talk about our team doing this. Soon as I changed that and was like, team, we're going triple. We're going to make history here. Like we're going to do crazy things. And by me going triple, so many of you guys are going to hit ranks. So many of you guys are going to get bonuses, and we're just going to keep going. And as soon as I vision casted what I wanted, and I shared my dream board, and I shared all these other goals that I personally have, and I started sharing that with them. And then as I'm doing them, do you know how much that speaks volumes to them? That you have goals and you're actually doing them. You're not just telling other people on your team to go diamond. You're actually going for things yourself. And I think that's a huge part of your duplication, is showing people what you're going after and then going and doing it. And then they're more likely to follow you and do the same things. So those are my biggest tips.
I love that at no point in time when we talked about duplication did you talk about systems. That's where our mind wants to go. Like we're like, oh, duplicating. So she probably has like the perfect training, or she probably has the best systems, and that's how her team is having these successes. But instead, you just laid it out there, and like there's nothing magic. You just start actually caring about your people. And when you care about people, they're going to work differently. When you meet them where they're at, they're going to work differently. And what I love about that is you don't have to be a leader to meet your team where they're at. You don't have to be a specific rank. You don't have to have a certain like time in the business. You have one person, And you now have the ability to duplicate, not by having the perfect system, but by really genuinely caring and helping these people achieve their goals. And I absolutely love the way you put that. So let's go a little bit into, you just went triple diamond. Everybody on here, if you guys are not triple diamond, you would like to be triple diamond, you would like to go past that, we want to see those ranks. So what is it that a triple diamond does as their daily, like, non-negotiables, your daily tasks?
Yeah, so literally nothing special. I'm not going to tell you guys anything you probably have never heard before. And I'll just say that I probably just do more than you do, or I've done more consistently than you've done. And that's why I've gotten the results I've gotten. So last month was my best month ever. I enrolled 81 customers and 8 distributors, and I'd never done that before. Okay. Like my best month before that was probably like 40 or 50 customers, which happens probably once a year during boom season. And the rest of the year, it's consistent between like around 30. Okay. So I am consistent, but what happened to get that type of results was insane consistency, if I can talk, and being so incredibly intentional with what I was doing. No wasted time. My word for this year is intentional, because I knew that there's so many little nooks that we waste our time, and we are doing things that do not matter. We are doing things that are not income producing. And so I just dialed in my personal groove in my system, and I just flew, like I just put some fire on the gas, or put some gas on the fire, either way around. And I just went for it. So I do host a post, of course, and that's where all my customers come from now. So I found a host a post that works for me, and I can share it with you guys, but I'm pretty sure I've seen Mariah talk about the letter HAP is the one I use, and it's just like a generic weight loss one. So that one is the best one that works for me. If it doesn't work for you and you've been using it for like weeks consistently, change it. Try something different, okay? Because you know what? Rachel Jones last year was like TFX HAP all the way. That's where all my customers come from. And I was like, okay, I'm doing TFX HAP. And I did it for like 2 months and didn't sign any customers from it. And I was so frustrated. And then I realized, duh, LeeAnn, like everything works different. So figure out what's going to work for you and run with it. So I found my host a post that I love that works for me, and I just run with that one. I lead with the gummies, and I probably am the reason why the gummies sold out because I sold so many freaking gummies, you guys. So in January through March, I've done the exact same system every single day. So every day I'm doing host to post, the letter HAP, I lead with gummies and I upsell from there, and I get, bigger packs. So I just, like I said, I figured out what works for me. I have my messages and boards that work exactly for me, and I follow that to a T, and I do as many as I can, and I talk to as many people as I possibly can. So I don't have a number of host to posts. I specifically have to get up every day. I don't like that. And I don't like telling my team, you need 10 a day. No, you need to be in more conversations. That's what it is. Because how many times have you got up 10 and you had been in like one conversation? That's not enough then. Or sometimes you get up 4 and the 4 blow up and you're overwhelmed and you can't even talk to all the people. Okay. So for me, it's not the number, it's the quality that I'm getting out of it. So I just do them until I'm overwhelmed, and I love it when I literally have to turn off my phone and go to bed, even though my inbox is still full. That's an amazing feeling. And that's how I felt January through March. It was just nonstop focused on as many conversations as possible. So I just did that, a lot of it, a lot of it. I will say I spent way less time on the other things, like the foo-foo things is what I call it, like the stories and all that stuff is great. Like, but I call that actually the frosting and the sprinkles. Okay. So if your business is a cake, the actual cake part is the conversations. That's the people you're talking to. That's your host to post. And then the frosting and the sprinkles are your posts and your stories and all of that foo-foo stuff. your business isn't going to get anywhere if you're only doing the foo-foo stuff. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're only putting frosting and sprinkles on no cake, that's not a cake, honey. That's just frosting and sprinkles, okay? So you need to make sure you're baking your cake every day and putting that up front before you're focusing on all the other things, or it's not going to work. So that's what I focus the majority of my time on. The other things just kind of like fall into place. I mean, I can't tell you how many days last month I actually didn't even post because I was so busy with all my conversations. And that's where all the people come from. And yeah, I just ran with that. Also say follow up your freaking fingers off, because that is where so many people fall through the cracks. If you're doing host to post like you should be, then there's no way you're going to remember people. There's no way you're going to check in with people. So I write down all my potentials. Once they respond to that first initial message I send them, they get written down because they're somewhat interested or they had a question, whatever they responded, their name is down. The next day, I send them a follow-up. So if they didn't respond to my message, whether it was answering a question, explaining something, the price, whatever we were left on, they get another message. And my message is literally, hey, did you get a chance to read that last message? And most of the time they respond and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I was so busy, or something along those lines. So that right there has helped me bring in more customers. That next day follow-up is crucial. I don't wait till Friday. But on Friday, I also follow up with everybody. So in March, I guarantee you some of those January potentials were so over me because by then I'd followed up with them like 80 times, and I just won't stop. I don't stop until they tell me no or they sign up. So yeah, follow up as much as possible. Don't stop. Your host to post. And then, like I said, those posting and stories are also important, but they're not the main priority in my eyes. And your personal development, because if your mind is off, doesn't matter what you're doing. I can't tell you how many days I wasted trying to do host to post and nothing was falling into place because my mindset was off. I wasted so much time. You might as well spend an entire day reading and doing personal development if your mind is off, and don't even work your business. Just get your mind right. Because as soon as it's right, things fall into place. And last month, I can't tell you how perfect everything fell into place because I took my mindset so seriously. Every day, there's designated time before I touch my phone to make sure I'm getting it right, focusing on everything. And I was so connected to God last month, like literally had full on conversations, just knowing He had my back through the whole month. And I've never felt that kind of that just real faith before. And I just knew like everything was happening perfectly and aligning perfectly because my mind was so right, my faith was right, and my team, they were on it too. I could feel them in that mindset as well. So it rubs off on people. So get your mind right and it'll rub off on them too. So yeah, that's how I did it. That's how we went triple. Nothing special, like I said.
I love it. It's just all the things like you were saying. You do everything that we're supposed to do every day, except you just do it more and you do it more consistently. And I think those like are just as equal in importance. Like, yes, you want to, push yourself to do more work. If you're not getting the results with the work you're doing, it's a simple fix. You do more, but you can't just do more on Monday. You got to do more every day, because if I get up 32 million and 7 host to post today and 0 for the rest of the week, all the work I did today really is not propelling me at all. You've got to have the consistency to pair with that. So if you could go back in time and talk to little LeeAnn there at the beginning when you had just gotten started and be like, girl, in 5 years, you're going to be a triple diamond. And I'm going to say triple diamond as many times as I can on this call because you're so new. I'm sure it just feels like so good to hear still. So if you could go back to little LeeAnn at the beginning and be like, girl, you're a triple diamond. You did it. What would you want to say to her? What advice would you have for you at the beginning?
Yeah, no, it feels so good hearing that. After 2 years of like manifesting that into existence, to finally hear people recognize you that way, you're like, yes, that's right. So, Yeah, if I were to go back, I would tell myself, you need to go all in a lot faster and not wait so long. Like, I think part of my story is that I was just so focused on starting a new career, and I thought that that was, my it was my dream job. So for me, I guess I wouldn't take that away. I wish obviously I would have done things faster, but at the same time, I needed to go work that dream job and realize it really wasn't all a dream. And I needed to work 50 plus hour weeks. And, there were so many days where they came in at 15 minutes before I was supposed to be off. And they were like, sorry, we have no one to replace you. You're here till the surgery's over. Cause you can't just walk out and it's 5 o'clock on a surgery. Like you kind of got to be there. So, I needed that. I needed to go through all of that to realize I don't want this. I don't want to be told when I can go pee. I don't want to be told, when I can come into work. I don't want to be called in at 4 in the morning anymore. So, um, I actually needed that. So as much as I would want to go back and tell myself, LeeAnn, this is going to completely change your life, go all in now and it'll happen sooner. I actually don't think it would have happened sooner because I needed to learn all of that stuff. But I will say that I would tell myself that you are worthy of more, that you are capable of more, and that you're all those people at the top are no one special. Not to be rude to them, but they really aren't. They're not like some unicorn that was born to be an ambassador diamond. Like they're all pretty normal people. And so I wish I would have realized that sooner because there was so long where I was like, I am not worthy of being a diamond. Are you serious? Like, I feel like we put these ranks on such pedestals and we think like, oh my gosh, I could never be that, I could never get there. And that's just not true. Like, you are worthy. Every single one of you on here are worthy of being a triple diamond and above. You are capable. Like I said, the work is the same. It's the same whether you're a distributor or a triple. What you need to do to grow your business is the exact same. So just get out of your own way and just go do the things because you can have anything you want. Anything you want, you are capable of getting it and you're worthy of it all. And so that's what I would tell myself.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. So, what is something you want to leave us with? A tip, motivation, of something that you want to leave everyone with as they're hopping off? I mean, we've got the rest of tonight and 2 more days. People are fighting to finish out, April, and then we are launching right into May. So, what do you want to end and leave us with?
Oh boy. So I will say, don't ever count yourself out of things. Something that last month, I'll tell you guys. So at the beginning of the month, when they announced Winner Circle, I kind of just like rolled my eyes and was like, okay, cool. Like, the top people or whatever are going to win this one. And a couple of days went by and I all my goal last month was to go triple, right? I told you guys that was like I had already set it in stone. And then I started looking and I was like, well, if all these people actually promote, like we might end up with a lot of points here. And I was like, but we'd still probably be far away. I remember the first family call when they were like, they said the points amount and they said who was in the top. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm getting into this. Okay. But then I had this moment where I was like, who am I to count myself out? I'm the only person on my team eligible to even get into Winner Circle. And so I had a talk with myself and I said, LeeAnn, how many times have you shouted out triple and not hit it? A million. So you're going for it again this month and you're shouting it out. Why can't you just shout out Winner Circle with it? What happens if you don't get it? Who cares? You're already going triple. Nobody's going to care that you didn't get into Winner Circle. So I kind of was like, I need to show my team that you can do anything you set your mind to. And I stopped counting myself out because I did for about the first like week and a half. And then I was on a roll and enrolled a lot of people and got a lot of points and a lot of promotions happened and everything lined up perfectly. And I think it was like a week before the month was over and I was like right on the cusp of it. The points kept updating and I'd be like 1 point away or I'd be 5 points away and I'd be like, oh my gosh, am I in? Am I not? And I was so much anxiety. And But I just knew deep down, like I knew if I prayed over it and I worked my butt for it, it would come together and it would happen. And it did. And I'm still mind blown that I'm even leaving here in 2 weeks to go to Florida. That just seriously blows my mind. Um, and so I would seriously tell you guys, do not count yourself out, whether it's your Ruby promotion, your Diamond promotion, whatever it is, like you guys can do it. You can absolutely do it. You just have to have your faith right. You whatever you believe in, you need to just believe that it's all going to come together perfectly and you need to work hard. And even if you don't hit it this month, that's okay. You're closer than you were last month. And I think that that's something that I've kept with me this whole time. Every month that I didn't hit triple, it was like, that's fine, LeeAnn, you're 1 month closer to the month you go triple. And it's all for a purpose, it's all for a reason. And like I said earlier, so frustrating not going triple for that long. But now I'm like, okay, God, I'm so thankful you waited till there was an incentive trip because I love incentive trips and I have serious FOMO. So the fact that I'll be there now, I'm very grateful that it happened when it did. So you guys just trust the process. It's okay if it takes longer than what you think. You don't change the goal, you just change the end date that you have in mind and keep changing it if you have to, but just don't give up because if I would have gave up in those first 2 years of no promotions, man, I don't even want to know where my life would be. It would be so different. I would be miserable. And yeah, it would just not be good. So um, put those goals out there, go after them, believe in yourself, and keep going. Even when you don't hit it, just keep going. You'll get there eventually.
I love that. Oh my gosh, so much goodness. We are seriously so thankful.